My first guest today is none other than my brother, Syed Sagheer, who's an investment counselor with ICICI Securities. He has over 14 years of experience with various financial companies such as Sundaram, Carvi, Allegro, and IDBI. Welcome to the show, Mr. Sagheer.
Thanks so much, Kunmesh. Thank you so much.
So the first thing I would ask you is, for a person who's working and investing just for tax and saving purposes, what advice would you have for him? Where should he really start?
See, I would turn the question around. I would first ask, like, do you only invest for tax purposes, right? Because that's been the tendency amongst most of the
Yes.
younger generation,
Yes.
that ATC comes to mind, and people just invest for the sake of saving
Cor-
some tax, and that's
Correct.
the end of it. People don't track their investments, and the next year the cycle repeats. So
Correct.
I would say that's not the way to look at it. Look
Hmm.
at investment as something which can really transform your life. So that's how I would go about.
Okay. That brings me to my next question. There's no right or wrong age to invest or start investing in things other than tax saving purposes, right? So, what would you say is the right age to kind of start?
The earlier the better, but it's never too late, right? So if KFC could be founded when Colonel Sanders was 60, I mean, even if I'm in my 40s and I've discovered the beauty of investment, one should do that rather than saying, oh, I've not, invested for 20 years of my life,
Right.
so, or my career life. So earlier the better, because see, investment is a journey. It's a journey. It's not an end in itself.
Hmm.
So someone should not think that, okay, I'll only invest for maybe year one, year two, year three, and then I'll take the money out. It should always be entwined to your habits. So if
Hmm.
you're earning, say, 100 rupees a month, say 20, 30, 40, whatever is your comfort, you just keep investing that
Right.
and build it like a habit, like how you brush, right?
Hmm.
Every day you brush. So the same thing you do every month, you invest, you pay yourself first. That's what I call it. I say
Hmm.
first pay yourself and then pay your maid and your driver and your landlord. So that's how one should go about. That's the mindset one should adopt.
Right. So if you talk about mutual funds versus, say, somebody who's just purchasing stocks, like single stocks, so how would you classify that, or how would you advise people to go about with their investments?
No, that's a very valid question, given that a lot of people today, I mean, with this whole COVID lockdown thing,
Hmm.
have started investing directly in stocks. I mean, I invest in stocks all the time, but I don't advise everyone to. Not, I'm not saying that's a permanent answer. I mean, obviously, one has to invest in stocks, but not at the start of their investing career, or
Hmm.
start of their investing life. So the best thing to do for someone is to take baby steps, and the thing is to go into a mutual fund. And I'll tell you why. Because mutual funds typically are your investment vehicles where a professional fund manager manages money on your behalf
Hmm.
for a very small fee, which is inbuilt into the NAV. So basically, you, with even your 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or 5000 rupees of investment,
Hmm.
get the benefit of diversification. Because
Hmm.
understand this, like you, 500 other people or 5 lakh other people are investing in that fund. So you
Right.
get the benefit of diversifying, and you are paying the fund manager full time to do that
Right.
job for you.
Right.
Now, as and when you develop that skill set, it's a skill like any other skill. I'm not saying it's rocket science, but
Hmm.
as you devote time, learn to read balance sheets, learn to read companies, etc.,
Hmm.
you can do direct investing on your own into stocks, shares, etc., rather
Right.
than relying on some expert on TV whose only probable motive at that point of time is to, talk about the next shiny thing.
What are the biggest myths about stock market?
Yeah, the biggest myth is stocks are akin to gambling. I mean, that myth has still not died down, even though we are not in the 90s anymore.
Right.
So we still get that in our relative circles, right? So stocks are like gambling, and probably first-time investors think of stocks as something where you buy today, sell tomorrow, or after a week, get rich
Hmm.
quick kind of schemes, etc. I would say treat it like any other serious business, right? For example, if today you and your friends start a restaurant,
Hmm.
you'll not sell that restaurant in 1 month or 2 months. You're not just, or you are doing a startup, right? And a lot of you
Right.
guys will relate to this. A
Right.
startup is typically something which you would curate for the next 1, 2, 3 years and maybe get a good valuation and sell it out, right? Even if you don't want to keep it for life. The same
Right.
goes for stocks. Don't look at stocks as stickers on the screen. Look at stocks as companies. So if
Hmm.
I'm buying a Infosys today, I'm a part shareholder of Infosys. So if
Hmm.
Infosys grows as a company, or if Unilever grows as a company, if Jubilant Foodworks sells more of pizzas, I
Mm-hmm.
benefit, right? And because I'm the owner, however small, even if I'm buying one share of Jubilant Foodworks, the
Right.
net profits accumulate to me. Think of it that way. I mean, think of, Burger King not as a IPO stock, but think of
Mm-hmm.
Burger King as, what can it do as a business in India for the next 5, 10, 15 years? If you think
Right.
QSR as a segment will grow, invest in that stock.
Mm-hmm.
Invest in Barbecue Nations because you believe this segment will grow, not because it's a stock which will double your money in 3 months, 6 months. That's how I would advise people to go about.
Right.
Learn about the sector, treat it as a hobby, learn about it, take baby steps,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and read and understand, look at valuations. I'm not trying to flood you with information here, but take baby steps, and then probably that's the way one should go about.
That's damn good advice. There's so many apps online, right? So which is your
Yeah.
favorite one, and which is the one that you would recommend for people to start their investments?
See, there are two classifications, right? You get something free and then you have to pay a price, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's doing direct stocks, obviously you don't get it cheaper than something like a Zerodha,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is a flat fee model. But
Okay.
for full services broking, obviously you get nothing better than ICICI Securities, which is ICICIdirect.com,
Mm-hmm.
where obviously you are paying a brokerage at
Mm-hmm.
every trade. So in exchange of that brokerage, you get quality. So really, it's up to you to decide. I would say someone to test the ground, start with a free account like what you get in Zerodha or even
Okay.
Paytm today. Paytm has a
Paytm money,
wonderful
yeah,
platform.
yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Mm.
Paytm money is amazing. I mean, I use that platform for my mutual funds because you get direct NAV. Now
Right.
understand this. You get a direct NAV and you get a regular NAV. So in a regular NAV, basically you end up paying certain part of your returns as commission to the
Mm.
agent. Whereas
Okay.
direct NAVs are something which you go directly to the asset manufacturing company, which is the manufacturer.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's no intermediary. So Paytm Money and the likes provide that platform. Even ICICI does, but to a certain set of clientele. But
Right.
having said that, someone starting new, it's a good platform. Go to Paytm Money, go to Zerodha. I think that solves your need.
Mm-hmm.
And as and when you need more, then probably you can look at other options.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. I think Paytm Money and Zerodha, that's really two good options available out. So somebody who's starting off, what channel to kind of subscribe to on YouTube? Are any of your favorites out there on YouTube?
Yeah, well, no, very frankly, I've been, not the best guy to follow all these new channels which are coming, and there's a lot of good content out there.
Right.
Now, I don't follow that for a reason because it's beginner content, but yeah, there are some good videos. Unfortunately, I can't name them. But
Mm.
what I would suggest someone to have a well-rounded experience is not just those YouTube channels. I mean, just generally be aware of news. I mean, I'm saying aware. I'm using that word very cautiously because don't rely only on news. That is only for your awareness. But do read a lot about businesses. So you can read that in newspapers or in websites, etc. Just learn about them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a private equity deal. Maybe it's a company. Maybe someone's got award as CEO 40 under 40. Just read about that. Your own LinkedIn
Mm.
will have enough connections. Will have that rich profile. So there are various sources. Just don't restrict yourself to one thing.
One source.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely there are tutorials, but some books, some articles, some following of people will
Right.
give you that information.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sagir. And this
Yeah,
has been really
yeah,
helpful for at least people like us who are probably getting into the game a little later, but better late than never, as they say.
yeah. So thank you so much, and I would only say this to people. Even though I started my journey in the stock market when I was 21, 22, I didn't invest for the first 5 years. I missed my a brilliant bull market. But
Mm.
all I keep telling people is, the stock market always gives you a chance. So
Right.
it's not like you missed the bull rally, you'll get the next bull rally. All you have to do is time in the market is important rather than timing the market. So please, guys, do invest. It's a brilliant thing. Compounding is, they say, the seventh wonder or the eighth wonder
Mm-hmm.
of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Just do that and be patient.